What is going on, guys? It is New York Sports Up here, and I'm back at it with another New York Giants video. I've taken the past few nights off. I've done a lot of content talking about the New York Giants offseason, the moves that they've made, obviously last week. So I decided to take a little bit of a break, but I'm back. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the NFL draft and who the New York Giants could target at number 11 with Kenny Golladay, Adoree Jackson, and Kyle Rudolph signed, as well as guys like Reggie Ragland, Mike Glennon, Ifeadi Odenigbo, and all the other guys that the Giants signed this offseason. Ryan Anderson, the other offensive lineman we signed. I believe it was yesterday we signed another guy, but the New York Giants have made a lot of moves this offseason, so it's very interesting on who the New York Giants could target at 11 in this draft. Because personally, before the offseason really started, I thought we were going wide receiver in the draft, but that's not what happened. We got Kenny Golladay in the offseason. Now we have three receivers. Well, technically we have four. We have John Ross, Kenny Golladay, Sterling Shepard, and Darius Slayton. We released Golden Tate, so we have four receivers that could be starters in the NFL. And that's just facts. We have Kenny Golladay, who's easily probably our best offensive player outside of Saquon Barkley, and he's one of the most dynamic wide receivers in the NFL, and there's no doubt about that. We have Sterling Shepard, who I get is injury prone, and he is older, but when the guy's on the field, he's a very good wide receiver. And it's same thing with Darius Slayton, and if he can return to his 2019 form, he could be a really good receiver. He has potential to be a number one wide receiver in the NFL. We saw that in 2019. So maybe he can return to his 2019 form. We have a really good receiver in Darius Slayton. So I'm really liking the look of this offense. So I think that the New York Giants could shift the players that they want to target from offense to defense, because we all know offense was the weakest part of our team last year, and the Giants addressed it by getting Golladay. And the number one wide receiver was the thing the Giants needed the most, and they addressed it this offseason. I really thought they were going to address it in the draft by getting a guy like Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, or what's the other guy's name? His name's escaping me right now. I'll probably remember it later. But those two guys are the main guys that I thought the New York Giants could target at 11. In this draft, that's the direction I thought the Giants were going to go. But they decided to sign Kenny Golladay instead, which I'm not complaining about. But that's I really thought they were going to get a receiver in the draft instead of in the offseason. But they decided to get Kenny Golladay, give him 3 years, 4 years, however long the contract is, and so it doesn't look like the New York Giants are going to get a receiver. Now, it's still possible that the New York Giants could get a receiver, but I have my doubts, that Devontae Smith or Jalen Waddle could fall to 11, because there is a lot of teams earlier that pick before us that could that need a wide receiver. The Miami Dolphins are a team that they need a weapon. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of other teams that need a wide receiver. The Eagles need a wide receiver. They don't. I don't think they have. How many weapons do they have on that team? I don't really think they have any. I mean, Miles Sanders, he's probably their best offensive player right now, and Jalen Hurts has no talent around him. He's a young quarterback. They want to give him some weapons to throw to, and they really don't have any right now. They got rid of Alshon Jeffrey. They're probably going to trade Zach Ertz, so I don't know who Jalen Hurts is going to throw to, so maybe the Eagles target a guy like Jamar Chase or Kyle Pitts or Devontae Smith. Maybe they, go out and do something like that. So I have my doubts, on a receiver falling to the Giants at 11, and I'm not going to complain about that because we don't need a wide receiver. We just signed Kenny Golladay. But if one of them is available and the Giants, they're the best player available on the board, I'm not going to complain if they take him, But I prefer that the New York Giants address other needs on this team. And the one need that the one kind of weakness on this team, sorry about that, is the offensive line. The New York Giants need to address the offensive line. The offensive line wasn't that bad last year. It started off slow, then, guys like Andrew Thomas started to develop. Matt Peart started to develop. Well, he didn't play a whole lot last year, but we know the talents in Matt Peart. He was like a third-round player, so I think Matt Peart could be a very decent tackle in the NFL. We obviously brought back Nate Solder. We have Shane Lemieux, we have Nick Gates. We have a lot of guys who could play offensive line. We also signed the guy yesterday, Ryan Anderson, whatever his name is. We also signed him yesterday. So we have a lot of depth at the offensive line position. But I think we need another offensive lineman. And probably the best offensive lineman outside of Penei Sewell, probably in the draft right now, is Slater. I'm not sure what his first name. What is it? I know his last name is Slater. He's an offensive lineman. I believe he's from Northwestern. Rashawn Slater, that's his name. and he's the best. Outside of Penei Sewell, who's not falling to us, he is probably going to be the best offensive lineman available at number 11. And the New York Giants' biggest weakness on this team is the offensive line. The offensive line is the Achilles heel of this team, and I think the New York Giants could address it in the first round like they did last year. And Dave Gettleman. Dave Gettleman loves offensive linemen. He did it last year. Getting Andrew Thomas. He got Matt Pert. He got Shane Lemieux. He got another guy that's escaping me right now, but he got a lot of offensive linemen in last year's draft. And I think the New York Giants should do it again this draft because we already addressed the cornerback position by getting Adoree Jackson, and we already addressed the wide receiver position by getting Kenny Golladay. So I think the New York Giants should target a offensive lineman at number 11. And the guy I have in mind right now is Rashawn Slater. Now, if they want to target a guy maybe like Creed Humphrey, maybe in the second round, that's something I wouldn't mind. If the Giants do, maybe they want to address another need on this team. They could do that and target an offensive lineman in the second round or the third round that has talent. I'm not going to complain about that, but I think if Rashawn Slater is available at 11, which he probably will be, I think the New York Giants should draft him because we already addressed the needs, the weaknesses, the other weaknesses, of this team in the offseason. I think we should address the offensive line, the biggest weakness of this team, which is the offensive line in the draft by drafting Rashawn Slater. So I'd love to know your thoughts on my opinion on who the New York Giants should take at 11 in the NFL draft. My opinion is Rashawn Slater. Now, other guys that the New York Giants could target, if they want to trade Evan Ingram, which I think they should do because Evan Ingram, in my opinion, really hurt. He hurt. Not in my opinion. I think all Giants fans could agree with me on this. He hurt this team last year in a bad fashion. He dropped a lot of balls, and obviously he probably lost us in the division. If he would have caught that ball against the Eagles, we probably would have won that game in Philly, and we would have swept them, which is always a good thing, and we would have won the division. So I think Evan Ingram needs to be traded. I really think we should trade this guy. This is probably going to be his final year as a Giant. What's the point of keeping him? I think we should trade this guy. I think we have the perfect opportunity to trade him. If we have a partner to trade for Evan Ingram, I think the New York Giants should 100% perform a trade for Evan Ingram because I think all Giants fans could agree with me on this one. I want Evan Ingram out of here because he hurts this team, and you don't want a player who hurts who plays for your team and doesn't help them at all. He doesn't help this team. He's not that great of a player, and I get we took him in the first round, but that was a Jerry Reese pick. We don't want Jerry Reese to haunt us anymore. I want Evan Ingram out of here. I think Giants fans could agree with me there. So I think the New York Giants should try to find a partner and try to trade Evan Ingram because Kyle Pitts is a absolute truck. And I think the New York Giants should target Kyle Pitts. The dude's a beast. You should see his. I don't know if anybody watching this video saw his 40-yard dash. The guy can really run for a tight end. He's an athletic guy, and the guy catches the ball, and he doesn't drop the ball. He's not butterfingers like Evan Ingram. I want Kyle Pitts. If he's available at 11, the New York Giants should 100% take this guy. I'll be fine with an offensive lineman in the second round if Kyle Pitts is available, and if the New York Giants trade Evan Ingram. If Kyle Pitts is available at 11, I'm fine with an offensive lineman in the second round because Kyle Pitts, this guy will be a difference maker for this team. He will make this offense ridiculous. And I get we have Daniel Jones as quarterback. I get he had a horrible year last year, and I don't think Daniel Jones is that great of a quarterback. I'm going to be honest with you. I want to have confidence in him, but I really don't believe Daniel Jones is going to be this franchise quarterback. I really don't think so. I think Giants fans could agree with me on that one. He was really bad last year, and in 2019 he had a good season numbers-wise, but you dive deeper, he fumbled the ball at a historical amount, and he still has a lot of problems that I don't know if he'll fix or not. So I don't believe he's the future of this team, but Kyle Pitts is... How old is Kyle Pitts? 22, 23 years old? He can't be that old. The New York Giants should definitely draft this guy. If he's available at 11, screw offensive line. Draft Kyle Pitts. This guy is a freak of nature. And if we trade Evan Ingram, which I think we should, and I hope they do, we got to draft Kyle Pitts. But I think my realistic pick for the New York Giants is either Rashawn Slater, maybe Jalen Waddle. Maybe Jalen Waddle or Devontae Smith. I don't think they're going receiver, but it's still possible. Another guy, Micah Parsons. Parsons is a guy the Giants do need an edge rusher. Now, we did restructure the contract for Blake Martinez, and he's an edge rusher that had a really good year last year. So, and we also brought back Leonard Williams, of course. So we have guys who can step in and play linebacker. We signed Reggie Ragland, so he's a guy who could start. We also signed, Oda Nigbo. He's a guy that had a decent, he's been pretty decent for the Vikings the past few seasons. And there's other guys on the market that we could still sign, but if Micah Parsons, if he's available at 11, if Kyle Pitts is already taken, which is very possible, He's a guy I would not mind drafting. He's a really good ball player, and he's one of the better edge rushers in the draft. And he's a guy I think the New York Giants could target. Kwity Paye's another guy that I do like. Who else? Am I forgetting anyone? I'm probably forgetting a lot of guys. And Rashad Bateman's the receiver I was forgetting about. Rashad Bateman's another receiver that the Giants could target as well. He's a solid receiver, and he's also one of the better receivers in this draft. He's another guy I could see the Giants target if they plan on going wide receiver. He's another guy I could see the Giants targeting. But if we're gonna go wide receiver, this is assuming Jalen Waddle or Devontae Smith is available. I wouldn't want to get Rashad Bateman. I think Jalen Waddle or Devontae Smith are much more talented ball players. So if we're going to go wide receiver, just draft Jalen Waddle or Devontae Smith. I think I like Rashad Bateman, but I don't think his talent is just as superior as guys like Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith. I mean, Smith won the Heisman, for goodness sake, last year. So I want to know your thoughts in the comments, down below. What are your thoughts on my opinions on who the New York Giants draft, and what is your opinion? Who do you think the New York Giants should draft this year? The draft is a month away from now. When's the draft? I think it's. Let me know in the comments. I think it's probably around mid-April is when the draft is. It's going to start. I know I think I'm not 100% sure, but I know it's going to be in person this year. So that's that's always cool to see when Roger Goodell and when the player gets drafted and he goes up and greets Roger Goodell. I think that's always a pretty cool thing to watch. But thank God it's not virtual this year. I thought that was pretty lame, but it's going to be in person this year, so that's pretty cool. But I believe the NFL draft is next month. I might be wrong. So if you guys know the date of the NFL draft, when the drafting starts, I'd love to know your thought. I'd love to know I don't know when it starts. So if you guys do know, let me know the date of the NFL draft down in the comments below. But anyways, I want to know your thoughts. Who do you think the New York Giants are drafting this year? I'd love to know your thoughts down in the comments below. So that's going to do it for this video. My pick is Rashawn Slater. That's my realistic pick, is Rashawn Slater. But other guys I could see possibly getting drafted by the Giants: Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, Kwity Paye, Micah Parsons, and also Kyle Pitts. Those are the kind of the guys I could see being possibilities, not the guys I don't think they're going to. I think those guys are possibilities. And Rashad Bateman. I also forgot him. Rashad Bateman's another guy. But I'd love to know your thoughts. Who do you think the New York Giants are going to draft this year? I'd love to know your thoughts down in the comments below. Make sure to stay tuned for more draft content. The draft's right around the corner. And again, please let me know when it starts because I need to know. But it's right around the corner. That's what I know. I know it's not in the summertime. I know it's in the spring. So it's coming soon, and I'm very excited for it. So that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll talk to you guys next time. Let me know your thoughts on my opinions down in the comments below. Peace.